Happy Workers' Day, everyone. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Dr. Obiaji, look good today. You know we are celebrating doctors. Hi, Doctor has landed the doctorship. Are we doctor? Tops, and she branded it well. I was like, and I said, I see us. We did this thing. We didn't brand anything. Papa now branded this. I said, hey, I said, yeah, no branding. I said, brand. I'm telling you. I said, this question, she don't go. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
My accountability coaching starts today.
Yay!
Starts today for the month of May. I'm going to be holding people's hands to help them get clarity for their goals, financial success.
I'm supposed to register.
Yes. Till today, but after today, we're done with this batch. Coming back again, maybe in August or July. I haven't decided.
So, what is accountability coaching about?
Okay, so the thing is to hold your hands to identify the things you really want to do and help you get there, help you sort out your emotional stability so that you're able to, and teach you how to pray effectively so that you're able to get across the universe and to God, you know, speaking the right languages, learning some of these things. Talk to God is the same thing. Talk to your higher self. If he's registered, come and join our class. Yes. So I'm excited about that, and we're starting that today.
I've been under business teaching, and I told her, I was like, it was such a beautiful thing to watch. You know, you see your friend in one light, and then you see her in that element. It was such an amazing thing. I would definitely want to sit in and, you know, maybe I should actually register as well, but I believe that
she's been a fantastic PDC for a lot of people, and it's fantastic that many people have actually
personal development coach.
So people have actually earned and learned from you. So well done, congratulations.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, girls.
I want to see that PDC so bad. She's a PDC. I was lost myself. I wanted to do so bad. Anyway, stop. See how that doesn't feel being a doctor. Doctor, talk honestly. I sound so right.
I wanted to send invitation to. I sent invitation to two of my friends, and on Saturday morning they sent me flyer congratulating me. That was the beginning of branding flyer. Then Shola Animation, thank you so much. So I've known Shola since like 18 years ago. Met him as a model, and I just called him like a month ago when I confirmed that I was going to be on the project, and he said just give me 2 days information, and he let go of a speaking engagement to be there. So the fact that there are videos, there are pictures, if he did not show up, honestly I didn't even give somebody my phone to take pictures or videos. So it was just about talking to the right people, and it's about community, and I'm really grateful. Shola, thank you for coming. Thank you to my sister-in-law Chinenye Odige for coming as well. It was I feel very grateful and honored. The story is loaded. Yes, very, very. There was so much. There's a story, honestly.
And Nancy Sime was there.
Yes, she also got.
Well done, well done.
Published author.
Fine,
thank you very much.
How is the authorship going?
The authorship is going fine, and I'm excited that you're going to be joining us.
Oh my gosh! What is happening this weekend?
Well, this weekend, let me tell you what, judging a book by its cover. It nearly happened to me. So we're on our way to this GT Bank food festival. Good. And then this police officer just kept trying to flag us down. In my mind, I was like, oh gosh, what do they want again, you know? And it was like a slow-moving traffic. So I saw that he had not stopped any other cars ahead of us. Anyway, we stopped and we waited for the usual. I was like, are you going to the festival? We're like, he said it's full. You have to park somewhere. I was like, if he hadn't told us, we would have been caught up in this massive traffic. So I just felt like, police officer.
Nigerian police.
I'm telling you.
And she was like,
full Nigerian police officer. So for me, what this has done is, you know, it has created a different reality for me about police. So the next police officer I see, I'm going to have a, you know, better, an open mind about what he may be wanting to tell me. And if the next one too continues like that, then I can finally say our Nigerian police
is our friend.
It's our friend.
I'm sure this is good news for many people.
Over the weekend, I was, my neighbor, Toyi Ifesonya, was her birthday. over the weekend. She was 40 years old. We had a party, and we partied because he's our neighbor. We parried, but we had fun. It was really nice, and I'm pretty excited. I'm starting my countdown.
Yes.
So I went to my mom's wardrobe and I got some ashwebi and so I did some photo shoot. We're doing them small by small, in the weeks coming along,
Yeah,
But
we can't
I'm
wait.
pretty excited. Let's go on a break. It's May Day. Happy Workers' Day to everybody. I know this day means a lot to a lot of Nigerian workers, and it's always good for us to reflect on the reasons on why this day actually exists. But first, let's go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. You remain sore losers, federal government tells PDP and LP. Sudan evacuation, 637 Nigerians stranded at border. CBN, more new votes to be in circulation, new notes to be in circulation soon. Why census was shifted by NPC. Oil price fluctuation threatens budget implementation. Workers are engine room of growth, says Lawan. Ohana is the leader Nwanya who asked Buhari to free Kanu before May 29th. Rivers first to host Tinubu, says Wike. 3 Abuad students for UK exchange program. An APC advisor recommends Lukman's expulsion. Okay.
Yeah, I'll start with Senate President Ahmed Lawan and the House of Rep Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila yesterday hailed the contributions of Nigerian workers to national development. The Lawan described workers as the engine room of the economy. He said that that's through his media aid. He says that the National Assembly, under his leadership, has enacted labor-friendly laws, and also the federal government must always pay serious attention to labor-related matters. I would like to read part of his statement. He says, throughout our history as a nation, the great Nigerian workers have been remarkable for their patriotism, commitment to nation building, and resilience in the face of serious development challenges. They've contributed to finding solutions to challenges and support the efforts of government targeted at meeting the yearnings of the populace. And, goes on and just, praising them and saying, and he finally says, labor creates wealth remains, that's the dictum that labor creates wealth remains as valid today as it has ever been. And he says the ninth National Assembly has guarded itself against introduction of any legislation since its inception in 2019. I like days like this because on those days you just tell each other half the truth, which is, we know that they're always fighting. But today they are celebrating. We had Femi Gbajabiamila to also made his own statement to just extolling the virtues of labor, and then we had people as well. Okay, I'm going to take the major headline. So the federal government tells PDP and LP that they remain sore losers, according to the Honorable Minister of Culture and Information, that's Alhaji Lai Mohammed, was saying yesterday what he described them as, both parties saying that their delusions and irritating complaints about the 2023 general elections are completely irrational. He urged them to brace the reality of the electoral losses, which were due to their overconfidence and complacency. However, trust LP to quickly have responded. LP said that the election was not credible, and PDP also said that they insist that Atiku Abubakar won the elections.
or the federal government is insisting that the president, in fact, deserves accolades for delivering the best election in Nigeria's history, adding that the tempestuous and predictable reaction to this comment by the opposition leaders just shows that they are shameful and sore losers, or shameless and sore losers.
Right. So the Central Bank of Nigeria yesterday said that the redesigned Naira notes will be in circulation soon. This was a statement by the Director of Corporate Communications, Issa Abdul Momim, and it says the CBN is taking delivery of a good quantity of redesigned banknotes from the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company Limited. He also debunked insinuations that the old notes were to be phased out, that the new notes were to be phased out. So according to the statement, it says the redesigned and old notes will continue to be accepted as legal tender. They will circulate side by side for transactions ahead of December 31st that they had mentioned, when the old notes, that's the 1,000 naira, 500 and 200 naira, will eventually be phased out of circulation. And so everybody should disregard the rumors, because this rumor started when some bankers, some customers realized that they have not been getting the new notes, given to them, and so they were speculating, that maybe they want to phase out the new notes. But CBN is saying no, it's going to be together. We're trying to print more new notes and put in circulation.
Right. So I want to take the story from the new President General of the Ohanese. He's an elder statesman, Chief Elder Statesman Chief Emmanuel Iwayan. He was ratified the new President General in the presence of a few governors represented by the deputy governors, as well as a few governors elects. And one of the major agenda in his speech was that he was urging the president within this administration to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. According to him, he said that based on the fact that the case had in the court had already freed Nnamdi Kanu, he feels like it's important that Nnamdi Kanu is discharged, and it will bring joy to many people of Igbo people. He also mentioned that he feels that any conversation you want to have about around uniting the country would be better if you've already released this man according to the law. He also mentioned that all the several conferences we've had in Nigeria has always recommended that the Southeast should have 6 states, which means one more state, and that is one of the things he's going to pursue that within his tenure there will be one more state added to the southeastern states, as well as peace within the region and growth economically within the region as well. Electricity, power generation, health, agriculture, industrialization on a bigger scale within the southeastern region. That's his agenda as the President General of the Izindigbo.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Benga Dainka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Benga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the question.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata, I go drink. So,
okay. So now one chance for Inter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this, because I have this question for you. Final question. No. Where outside Nigeria and what year? Think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking, because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I don't
overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Let's catwalk. Where are we?
No, that's not catwalking.
That's good.
That's
good.
working.
Ask questions if I want to ask questions. And if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just... I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then, would it make a difference where? So, like, this person might just say, you people can just be on 3rd Mainland Bridge on a bike. And the person say, babe, I cannot do it again. And you lose range. So, what would change the scenario? Like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner, like the film you were meant to be
like finding up
and
you
then,
right?
or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just una dey run for treadmill.
Or you not a job.
You tell you lose for your web.
Okay, we're going to start with the punch. ATS scorecard. Workers lament hardship, score Buhari governor's low on welfare. Two suspects caught concealing cannabis in Garisak. Opposition's rigging claim fraudulent, says federal government. CBN supplies more new Naira notes to banks. Unsold goods stock rises by 52%. Don't attack embassy staff. Ambassador warns stranded Nigerian students. And FG dumps 5% telecoms tax waiver. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The major headline.
Please.
So we need today, President Muhammadu Buhari is marking his last day, May Day, in office today. And the labor unions are scoring his administration very low, saying that he made a lot of Nigerian workers poor and inflicted hardship on Nigerians. So they went ahead to list some of the things, saying that the galloping inflation in the country has already eroded the 40% increment that was recently approved for federal government workers with effect from January. It said, the consumer price index reported by the National Bureau of Statistics in March 2023 indicated that Nigeria's inflation rate accelerated to a new 17-year high of 22.04%, and also that it rates globally and the highest inflation rates globally and the 7th highest in sub-Saharan Africa in 2022. They went ahead to explain that when the president took over in 2015, petrol was still sold at 87 naira per litre, but now it's presently dispensed at 196 and above per litre, even though that the administration kept paying the subsidies. It said cooking gas shot up to 822.16 kg from 256 kg in 8 years. Electricity tariffs were hiked to 68 per kilowatts per hour from 27.20 kilowatts per hour, and even at that, we still have a lot of power outages. So it was a list of all the things that they felt the federal government had done to inflict pains on Nigerians. They also blamed some governors, saying that the governors did not prioritize the welfare of their Nigerian workers. But there's hope that the new administration that will be getting into power will be able to do better. At least they have to look at the policies that has not worked. They talked about the new redesign of our currency policy that rendered us cashless, cash crunch, and all that it didn't work. So they are hoping that the incoming administration will do better.
Okay. The operatives of NDLEA have arrested 2 suspects for concealing cannabis in a bag of Gary. Further in the report, they say concealing it in Gary flakes. In cassava flakes? What do we call Gary cassava flakes? Because they're not flakes, really, But anyways, they arrested Kabir Mohammed, 35, something like that, and Isa Mohammed, 28, were arrested with 20 blocks of cannabis weighing 11.2 kg concealed in Gary along the Zaria Kano Road, that's Friday, April 28th. Then no fewer than 7 bags of cannabis with gross weight of 74.5 kg were recovered when operatives raided an incomplete building located in the bush in Alata and Akure area of Ondo State. This is just widespread, different parts of the country. There's a 60 kg of the same substance that was concealed among footwear in 2 jumbo sacks, recovered from one Amin Mohammed along Ibadan-Oyo Road while waiting to board a vehicle to Kebbi State. 126 parcels of Canadian Loud, the synthetic strain of cannabis, weighing 3 kg, concealed in a used Toyota Corolla car imported from Toronto, Canada, at the Tinkan Airport, and so on and so forth. But thank you, NDLEA, for working hard.
Fantastic. So I have a report here from the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. It's quite extensive. I can't take in all the details, but the crux of it is that they have recorded 52% increase in unsold finished products. According to them, even though they are unable to meet production levels, the ones they even produce couldn't be sold because of various factors, some of which include, let me get the details here. Well, there was quite a bit, I now lost it, but the high inventory recorded in the period attributed to low purchasing power in the economy due to the declining real income of households, followed by the continuous increase in inflation, and also the Naira redesign policy, which we had to deal with between last year, December. They said that production activities were reduced because of the environmental factors for companies, forex, power issues, so on and so forth. All this cut down production. Even with that, they were unable to sell off what was produced, and that was a problem for the manufacturing organization. As I said, it's quite detailed here, but just to give an update on the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria.
So let me take the story about the federal government. Last year, the Minister for Finance, Budget and Planning, Zainab Ahmed, had announced there was going to be excise 5% tax on telecommunications as well as in the other sectors of the economy. And Hisa Pantami, the Minister for ICT, had already said that the telecoms has contributed immensely to the Nigerian government. According to him, it is actually the backbone of the Nigerian economy in both areas of its contribution to the GDP and tax collection by the FIRS. And he said that between August to September 2022, the taxes had increased from 39% to 41%. A lot more taxes. There are multiple taxes from the states to the federal government or the ICT sector, and that this 5% excess tax would be shrinking the achievements of the telecom sector. It said that most of the time, governments implement excise tax on like tobacco, drinks, things that the government wants to reduce consumption on, not areas that you know that Nigerians have become dependent on. So this article is actually the Minister for ICT complaining that the implementation of this new tax would not work. And of course, federal government is trying to raise funds, so they decided to place it even on the telecoms. They suspended it before last year, but they will start implementing it from this year.
Okay. Daily Sun, very quickly, you lost willfully, FG tells LP and PDP. Southeast Group clamors for Senate President backs Kalu. Labour rejects planned privatization of NIPOS, TCN, and other federal medical centers. Adamoa Guba, why I declared Benani winner. Yunusa Ari State Rec. Oh, really? Spoke. FG accuses Arufai of placing Unity School students' lives in harm's way. Lagos explains demolition of buildings in Ajawa Estate. Anxiety in Kano over planned review of Sanusi's deposition. Okay.
So I know everyone's waiting for this story. So remember the suspended resident electoral commissioner for Adamawa State, Yunus Ari, has said he announced the results of 69 polling units April 15th supplementary election due to security pressure.
Wow.
He said that he said the REC we remember he snuck into the collation center 2 hours before the scheduled time for the resumption of collation and then declared her winner. And he had written a letter to the IGP explaining his part in the controversial announcement. He said that he acted within the ambit of the law to avert impending danger associated with any delay in announcing the result. He claimed he realized that the result brought by the presiding officers from the 69 polling units, which he did not sign, differed from what was uploaded on the INEC results, that's IREF portal. He also alleged attempts to replace him as collation officer with the administrative secretary, threats to cause mayhem, commissioners appointing illegal collation officers, and his house being surrounded by police from Government House as some of the risks he faced during the poll. So based on all this, he compiled all the polling units results and declared Binani winner. And that's his explanation. That's where it stops.
We'll leave to the IGP.
We know that police is investigating. We hear what the courts say. And
okay, so the state government, in a video being circulated by Lagos State Building Control Agency, LASCA, disclosed that 12 buildings were marked in the area for demolition for non-compliance with the law. He said the affected buildings were erected by their owners without obtaining construction approvals from the federal government through the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAAN, and the state government. Now, aside from not obtaining that approval, the affected structures were said to have been built by their owners on pipelines channeled to transport aviation fuel to the airports. That's the Murtala Muhammad Airport in Ikeja. And so the building had to be pulled down. They said they've been talking about this since 2016. They had presented and told the people to evacuate that building, that it was illegal, but the owners of the building refused to adhere to it, and that's why it's being pulled down now, that they cannot take the risk of having such buildings around the airport area. They are in dangerous zones, and no state will allow a lot of people to die if anything happens there.
Later is our hot topic. Let me just take the TUC President Festus Osifo has told federal government that they should dare not try to privatize that's the Federal Medical Center, that's the FMCs, NIPOS, or the TCN, that's the Transmission Company of Nigeria. Now, this is the debate that's going on of, do we privatize these major agencies? Many people have complained, especially for power, that those transmitting, that government has no business in business, that these are agencies that could be privatized to make it more effective. The debates will be ongoing, but the TUC president said it is a no-no. We need to reiterate. Let me say his exact word. We wish to reiterate there is a no-no to privatization of the federal government centers. That for us, it is something that we will not tolerate, because all the privatization that has been done in the past, we've not seen any benefits from it. Saying that in similar breath, they will say no to the privatization of also NIPOS and other major agencies. So this is an ongoing debate, because many people always say that when you privatize, it's supposed to get better to better hands. But some will argue that power was partly privatized, and yet we haven't really seen what's for power. So there are various factors.
There's telecommunications. People would say it's better.
Exactly. So it depends on what lens you're looking at it. There's a continuous debate.
So the federal government has accused El Rufai, that's the governor of Kaduna State, of placing the Unity School students' life in harm's way. Apparently, there's been a case of land redelineation. So the school is the federal government college. I want to get the Federal Government College Malali, and that is putting the lives of students within that school in harm's way, because the government pulled down the fence, because the state government is claiming that there's a part of the land that was fenced into the land that doesn't belong to the school. And so the federal government has said that if you pull down the fence, this would open the school, students and staff to the threats of any harm coming to them. The state government is trying to put another fence that comes within the area, and a case had been sent to court, perpetual injunction against them. The principal got a letter from the Kaduna State governor saying that from the State Urban Regional Development Authority, that they are going to be making a move on that portion of the land. So it's now a case of, when will the court say they should not move, or will El Rufai finish his move before the courts even set
the courts. So thank God for the courts. The courts will then eventually let us know.
Thankfully, the students have police presence on ground. The IGP has already sent police to the place to protect them while they are back in school.
That's a good increase. Vanguard, our Paula's last paper for today. Let's find a story of not taking May Day. It's been terrible, agonizing for workers, says NLC. Sudan, 637 students arrive at Egypt's border. OPS urges federal government to suspend proposed new taxes. Excuse me. 17 buildings marked for demolition in Anambra for harboring gunmen. No plans to phase out redesigned Naira notes. Southeast governors, Igbo leaders inaugurate Nwanyawu as new Ohaneze President General. And Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, FG apologizes over failure to meet deadline. I think we're taking most of the stories.
Yeah, aside from Sudan.
Okay.
Yes, so Ministries of Foreign Affairs and that of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has confirmed that the first batch of 13 buses conveying 637 stranded Nigerian students have arrived at Aswan borders, Egypt safely. It also says that the necessary documentation and clearance before admission into Egypt territory for their eventual evacuation to Nigeria are in progress. They're trying to sort that out. And he went ahead to advise that there's this rumor that students are trying to attack the embassy staff, and he's saying that nobody should attack them. They are going to be on ground in Khartoum to make sure that everybody is evacuated before they leave. And so when they are coming for, they should make sure that they get to the designated area on time and come with only one box so that the movement is seamless for them, basically.
Okay, I was going to just rush down the 17 buildings marked for demolition in Anambra. So these 17 buildings are marked for demolition in Uli community in Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. Also, the police have actually gone into these various communities, heavy deployment of officers and men to pull down the stronghold of indigenous people of Biafra, that's IPOB in Anambra State. According to them, the Imo Police Command has also confirmed the arrest of 9 suspected members of IPOB and 1 sector commander of the militia arm, that's the Eastern Security Network, and the Matthew Chukuma 48 of Mpam Ahiazo. Mba is a local government area. So they are really trying to weaken the stronghold of IPOB in these communities, but we'll see how that goes in the coming weeks.
You just murdered this morning. Touched God.
Negotiations have been suffering under hellish traffic condition on the way outside Lagos, and we were all waiting for the April 30th that they were going to finish the road, but the Minister for Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, represented by his Special Advisor on Communication, Akim Bello, said that they are sadly not able to meet up with the April 30th, that there were other things happening between Kara, construction work that has delayed the process of work, but that they would continue the work between, they said, all that will be left is between Otedola Bridge and Bega, but they did not give us a date anymore. So.
But Auntie, some parts of it have been loosened up. That's why you're able to get to work today on time. Compared to last time, we were all rushing, but at least we'll see.
No, it's Friday. Wait now.
Friday. So after the show, we'll go to the Express to see what is clear.
Let's just wait till Friday.
Friday is the day of really now see how congested it is. Okay, so but I tried to send a message to Engineer Kuti. He said, "Don't worry, you're not going to give me a story." I said,
"Don't give us the timeline, though." I was reading to say 1 week or 2 weeks, no timeline.
Just 29th, so we need to be
in the house 5 a.m. on Friday.
Okay, that is all we can take on this morning's front page review. When we return, we want a hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
It's not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So like, if I had a very, very interesting...
You wouldn't want to work with who?
There's no judgment.
No, and I
they'll
respect,
judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
Resentment from
on
home.
you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. Man, just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it or not, but if I find out,
When they're nice divorcees.
I would just
What
be.
if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll just drop my resignation letter. No matter the amount you're paying me.
So it's more passive-aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, hi, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira,
If
take
you're
10K,
your sugar
take
daddy,
15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good boss.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay.
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink. Huh? No problem.
Okay.
I've always known it as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be,
yeah. I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
Wait, I'm not done. You didn't.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us live from Onika Stadium venue of the 2023 Rally for Workers in Lagos is the Chairman, Nigerian Labour Congress Lagos State Chapter, Fumi Sesi. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good to have you on. So she will be speaking on how symbolic a day like this is for workers in Nigeria, the challenges and all the issues that have been unable to be resolved by employers in Lagos State. Welcome again, madam. We're so happy to have you. Tell us again why this day is such an important day for workers in Lagos State especially.
Every year, State Force is set aside to commemorate the Workers' Day. And this Workers' Day is usually dated back to several years back when the workers in America they fought to have 8 hours of work, to have a decent work, working hours and working pay, environment and everything concerning workers' rights. So, in respect of that, and fighting to gain victory, all over the world we celebrate Workers' Day of Lagos. And today we are part of the celebration in Lagos State. This year's theme is workers' rights and socio-economic justice. So, we are going to use the opportunity to appreciate the government, most especially the government of Lagos State, where we work, for all the ones they have done, and also to be able to highlight and to place in front of the government all the issues that are still in contention. So, and every year, issues that we bring to the fore to Mr. Governor Sanwo-Olu, we realize that at least 70 to 80% of it is being given attention, and we always do all those things. So we are also expecting that issues that we are bringing this year,
all right,
we are going to smile at the end of the day.
Let me get a few more questions in for you.
Okay, madam, can you help us highlight some of the challenges of the Nigerian workers and tell us the plans to get them sorted so that we would have workers that are really, really happy working in the Nigerian system? You can use Lagos for case study.
Lagos as a case study, the environment where we work, most especially the city life, is very toxic. We talk about the greatest challenge, which is traffic issues, bottlenecks. Commuting from your home to your places of work and getting back is one issue and one problem of city life. Sometimes you spend hours, wasted hours in traffic. You can imagine spending 5 hours so and 5 hours coming back and 10 hours in the door together. People are falling sick and people are, they just slump and they die. An incident of deliverance and city life. The city life is very difficult and very hard. And not only that, the rent, accommodation is on the high rise. And transportation too.
Yeah.
The fare for transportation is sitting good with our salary. So there's nothing like a rural life. It's all about city life. And we are not getting the commensurate salary as a city worker. Anyway, let's start with a government that is paid the 35,000 minimum wage. And we recently increased 20%. But we are going to also play some demands. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag.
Okay.
Until when we roll out our demands for this year.
Right. Okay.
So, whenever we talk about labor issues, workers' issues, we tend to focus on the government workers, and we know that majority of employment numbers tilt more towards the non-government workers. What is the plan in this celebrating of Labor Day? Workers' Day today. Okay. Yeah, Workers' Day today, to ensure that we are also engaging the private sector, so that we are actually protecting workers that are not in the within the government structure. What are your conversations? What are the conversations you're engaging private sector on right now?
Thank you very much. The law of Nigeria is not discriminatory against the workers in the private sector. We have just one law. We do not have a two set of law. And it has stipulated what needs to be done by the employers. Either you are in the private sector or you are in the public sector. So we are going to, from our seat and from what is going to continue to happen, today, the press should just wait for our, the speech will give you copies of that. It's going to be taken care of. And all the agencies that are supposed to be in charge of every law to implement, we want to wake them up from their deep slumber. And all hands must be on deck. All stakeholders must ensure a shared view for all the workers, irrespective of where they work. Either they work at the bank, they work with insurance companies, they are in informal sector or formal sector. Workers are workers, and their interests should be well taken care of.
Okay.
Yes, so my question is, I know when we celebrate workers and the relationship between employers and employees, on days like this, we focus mainly on what the employers are not doing. What would you, well, let us have the conversation on what you think employees, workers themselves can do, what responsibilities that they carry, and how can they better organize themselves and engage themselves to make greater impact in our development and growth.
Is that the workers or the employers?
Workers. We, the people,
okay,
the workers.
That is why we unite. That is why we said people should come into the union. The law, I will still refer to stipulate that any enterprise that has 20 or more workers, they should allow a free association of the people. They will join the worker. They will join the union that has something to do with the particular state they are into. So from there, we'll start engaging, we'll start dialoguing, we'll start collective bargaining. And from there, when we talk, when we dialogue, when we look at issues around us, that is when we can realize the potentialities not only from the workers, but the employers too. They don't know that allowing people to be in the union could also be of benefit to the places of work. So, from this year's Workers' Day, and in Lagos State, with the new Lagos rising, I think all hands must be on deck. And that is exactly what is going to happen. We are going to work to ensure that by next year's Workers' Day, we will have a lot of success stories. We are going to bring to the fore so many things that are going wrong, you know, most especially in the private sector. Particularly, we also mentioned some names of some enterprise that need, you know, some sanctions or some restrictions on the issues on anti-labor activities. We are going to do that today. Probably when we start to do that, they will begin to know that they need to reorder their priorities.
All right, let me go on a break because there's still a few more questions we'd like to ask you because people are...
Please, can you allow me to go in because we want to welcome the government?
Oh, yikes. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Let me let you go.
Let's do it outside the workers' day.
All right. You can go on. Thank you so much, madam. All right, let me let you go. Thank you so much. So I can... Yeah, it's their party. I mean, what I was going to actually talk about was the fact that many people have no access to Nigerian Labour Congress. They have issues, but sometimes they feel like the government are overwhelmed with complaints. They don't know how to even start to engage them. So it would have been nice for us to know how, no matter whether you are private or public sector, you know how to reach them. But she said something that was really important concerning transportation. Because I know when I did some work with the Lagos State Education, teachers were complaining because you get posted. So you live in Bagada right now. You can get posted to Badagry as a teacher. How do you get to work? So they're complaining that we either need a place to stay within that area so they can be accessible because they can post you anywhere. Hostels.
Because of the posting part, my cousin works in the bank and they posted her. And they didn't have to provide accommodation. And though she was working in the bank, and based on where they posted her to, she was really having major health challenges. 2 of our colleagues had to resign at that time. So it is important that during conversations like this, we take everybody, not just federal governments, Lagos state government and private sector.
We're going to quick, but when we come back, we'll take some phone calls and see how we can celebrate our workers. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Govt ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Pere. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait. Calm down. Why are you like this?
This is your team.
Small play now.
They will not
Somebody cannot play with you again.
They will not be impressed though. The team that you're supporting. And
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, that's last.
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Made Kuti in the view. It's still 7 of 7 and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 or 7, to be honest. Because, ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We will not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
About neuroplasticity.
And based on
he asked a question that was subjective about high life, and he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing workers, and I'd like to open our phone lines again. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Some of the issues that have been raised, we don't want to discuss all the issues.
Let's celebrate.
Let us celebrate workers, because Nigerian workers do deserve some celebration, especially all in Lagos. It's not easy working in Lagos.
I think that I want to discuss issues, but we have to just discuss one issue. I'm sorry.
Let's start with
because of Lagos. And the theme for this year for International Workers' Day is, I think, is safety and health. And I always say that I feel that Lagos workers are under pressure in that regard, because you're waking up earlier than your counterparts across the country. Due to traffic issues, you get to work, you're spending so many hours seated in traffic, you get to work, you're seated, so there's no time really to exercise and breathe in. And even Lagos is constantly a hustle and bustle, you're breathing all sorts of fumes and things like that. So I would like to say that I am excited that the Lagos State government sort of understands this and understands the conversations around green energy, sustainability, and hopefully that will eventually pick up and Lagosians can live a healthy life, you know, you don't have to go specifically to purchase this for yourself, but as a state that they're going that route. And for me, because I will give you a story, when I worked in the bank, we had a colleague who had driven to his house. He had left the office, let's say around 7 p.m. By the time he got to his house, which he was close to Ogun State, that time there's lots of traffic. He got there. As he got there, turned his car off. That was the end of him. You know, so I just feel that and a lot of us, you know, they sat us down, they talked to us about watching our health, making sure that our blood pressure is good. These are the realities of working and living in Lagos, and I hope that in conversations like this is put into consideration.
I think Lagos State workers, the workers across the country deserve some accolades, because there are various risk factors that can stop you, prevent you from actually doing your job. But somehow in this country, we're able to overcome. The worst of it, and the worst things happen to us. You just imagine things that we go through in this country happening somewhere else. They will just break into pieces. But
they will shut down the economy.
Yes,
they will shut down the economy, because I didn't want to. I honestly wanted to
celebrate.
We can. Yeah, so I'll start with that. One, because this morning I had a conversation. I said it before we went on air, that my son was saying that today's Workers' Day, you should be at home, and I want to celebrate all the workers within the media industry, because there's no day. You're working, there's no public holiday, you don't have a choice, you have to show up, whether there is Christmas or Easter. We've been doing this on Christmas Day, on the first day of the year, where you were here on TV, and there are many others doing that as well. So I want to celebrate everyone in the media, and appreciate everyone behind the scene as well as those in front of the scene. I also want to, since Ma'am has taken us through the health and the challenges within that space, I would like to also talk about the health challenges and security challenges that are facing people within the media space. And that's because for you to get the stories, for you to cover a story, there's a lot of threats that comes to the lives of people. Now, we don't even do reporting. We are on air and we're giving opinion. And sometimes we're just stating the fact. and yet threat comes to our life because the fact we stated does not meet or align with somebody else. So when we're celebrating Workers' Day, we need to look at all the perspective of everybody's work, the risk involved in everybody's work, and the empathy to understand that this person is simply doing a job. You know, the police officer that stopped you, the FAAN person that stopped you and asked for your documents is simply doing his job, and so we give that respect to them
respecting
as well.
individual roles, which is fantastic. Let me just add the Workers' Day, the theme actually also is workers' rights and socio-economic justice. Important for us to get that right. There was something I was going to say, but let me let you go, BC.
Okay, so this is celebrating workers. I want to say that every job is important. There's dignity in labor, and we must not forget that. Whether you are a housekeeper, you are a gardener, you're a mechanic, whatever job you're doing, you must do it with dignity and self-respect. And we need to stop looking down on some jobs to feel this one is beneath, this one is below, this I can't do this kind of job, I can't talk to people that do this kind of job, I can't be seen with this sort of people. We need to stop that. Everyone who is doing any form of labor that is not stealing, that is not a criminal, that is putting in the work must be celebrated at different capacities. I also want to talk to employers of labor. I feel bad sometimes when I see how employers treat their workers because they feel, if not for this job, where would you be? I think it's very unfair, and I think the government needs to begin to have stakeholders meeting, engaging employers of labor, especially in the private space. So government knows how they organize themselves in the government spaces, but in that private sector, government needs to wade in to make sure that people are treated right, to make sure that nobody is earning below minimum wage. The money is not even enough in the first place, so they must at least have that basics. We must pay attention to how workers are treated, and then the like you mentioned earlier, the labor office must be open, that anybody can have a walk-in. And we must see that labor is fighting for the interest of workers, not just when it pleases them. Yes, and then before you know it, you hear that somebody has settled somebody, and then we are no longer fighting.
Let me say something, because I know that if Nina was on the show, she was going to mention the fact that these foreign companies, the maltreatment of Nigerian workers, that point that she always raises. So this is another opportunity for them to understand that there's got to be a baseline for how you treat Nigerian workers, especially for foreign-owned companies. So we need to also highlight that it's an opportunity for those workers with those kind of companies to have access to NLC, to always go to them, their complaints. But I know that NLC also try to help some Nigerians.
They don't allow unionization.
They don't allow unionization.
So I have to also celebrate those in the medical sector. Nurses and doctors. We know how they work. As a daughter of a nurse who would work, I remember then she would have like 7 days. I've forgotten what she used to call it. So it's 7 nights consecutively. So she could have the next 7 days available to be with us, you know. They put in so much work, so much time, and frankly I feel that they're not paid commensurate to how much they put into work. We need to do better in that regard. They also suffer all sorts of, you know, like when there's a pandemic, there's an outbreak. Usually when they're the first to get in contact with the patient, long before they even understand what's happening. People have lost parents because, you know, of that. So we celebrate you, our heroes, and of course next in line are our soldiers at the war front. Thank you so very much.
And also we have to remember our pensioners, those who have worked, many of them retired. They are home. Please, government should pay them, especially those who are with them gratuities. Kindly pay them in quite a number of states. Yes, gratuity is very. My mother-in-law is always complaining. Let me know.
30 years of service.
Can't keep doing that.
Yes, we can't get the best from people when we don't pay them. We don't pay the retirees. So the people working will know, I don't want this to be my end. Is this what I'm working for? Is this the way I'm going to be queuing up to get what should come to me? We need to treat our retirees better if we want our workers to be more dedicated and loyal to the
well, I have to wrap up on this, but I cannot live without celebrating my constituency, which is not the media, Ministry of Education. See, when we started the project of EcoExcel, teachers' absenteeism was about 32%. No, many teachers were not showing up to work. But in the last few years, like the last data I saw, about 92% show up. Because one of the issues the tablet was trying to solve was get teachers to come to work. Before in the past, They'll just come right on the board and they leave. But no, then. But now they've been encouraged, they've been motivated to work. They are showing up. The data is going up. It's not even to make sure the kids show up at school. Because there are other factors that are causing kids, but the teachers show up. Especially, like, I don't have the data for across the country, but I do have the data for Lagos State. So well done to the teachers in Lagos State.
Yeah,
Thank you for being dedicated to our pupils. And I just hope that more workers across the nation will do exactly as you're doing. That is all we can do. Congratulations to all the workers, Nigerian workers, and the media guys. Congratulations, boss. We don't sleep. Media doesn't sleep. They're always there back to back. Let's go on a break. When we return, another serious hot topic. The 13 buildings that were demolished in Lagos is our hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger,
Yeah, take it.
today we'll go here.
Hey, I didn't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
Eh?
I said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
It's not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Leifa had a very, very interesting.
You wouldn't want to work with who?
There's no judgment.
No, and I
they'll
respect,
judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
Resentment from
on
who?
you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. My just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it, no, but if I find out,
When they're nice divorcees.
I would just
What
be.
if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll just drop my resignation letter, no matter the amount you are paying me.
So it's more passive-aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira,
It's
take
your employer, not
10K,
your sugar
take
daddy,
15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good boss.
This is 7J and signing a sobriety into my hands tonight on this social experiment called the 7 of 7. It's Owen G. What is the name, or what was the name? You see, I won't make them better now.
Rock Heart.
No,
That's
of the goat. When they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of Buga. He didn't get it. You know. Okay. Mention 10 female stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started. And if you annoy me further, you mention the names of their husbands and the names of their children. Try me now. Okay, mention their name.
Let's just.
No, wait. No, don't. No. Name, real name, stage name, husband name, children name. 10 of them.
Even the 10. That's a lot.
Eh?
That's a lot.
Did I cut your question for you?
Yes.
When you were happy now. Elelele buga.
Thanks for staying with us. So, as you all probably already know, about 13 houses in Najawa estates and Shasha areas of Lagos have been demolished by the Lagos State Building Control Agency, LAPSCA, and also the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. Joining us to talk about this a bit later is the General Manager, Corporate Affairs, Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. Join us very soon. That's Faithful Hope Ibalize will be joining us in a moment, but you can call us on the numbers on your screen: 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet TVC Connect, please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. So we've seen the videos that ran earlier, and we've seen various angles. So first video that really broke the internet was the video of a woman crying that her building has been destroyed. She was unable to get out her documents. And she was actually in the hospital and somebody told her to come to the house. So that video trended quite a bit before the government now came out to tell us exactly what happened. We have been told that since 2016, they've been notifying the community that these buildings are being built on a pipeline, and FAAN specifically requested, going back and forth to LAPSCA, asking them to please come and tell these people to remove their buildings because of the pipeline. But as factual as we've seen all the various angles, there's always a part of, is there a human face to demolition? Is there, can government wear a human face when it comes to stuff like this, where people know that once I destroy it, you cannot get it back? So those are the various angles I'd like us to look at this from. Let's start with the facts first. The fact that they were served since 2016 and nothing happened. What could have caused for the average person to ignore such a such a letter from government?
So this is a very painful video to watch if you have built a house before. If you have ever used your hard-earned money, put it together to come up with a structure, it is painful if anything happens to it, because this is you seeing it could be all their investments just going down the drain. It's very painful, and my hearts really go out to their loss, but this also could have been avoided. There's something they do in Lagos State. If you want to buy a property, you do a search. That search will tell you if it's going to be a government-acquired property, if it's a place that has been earmarked for probably agriculture, if it's a place for residents, if it's somewhere you can actually buy and build on, or somewhere you should just, let go. So I have this property that I acquired behind business school. And we put up the foundation, thinking of what do we do with the structure, only for the search to come out, and we realized that area is for the government. It was actually sold to us by the family, the people that own that place, but it's a government area that I think they want to use it for something, maybe agriculture or something later on. They will even tell you the year they want to start looking at it. At that point, I froze, because I couldn't imagine putting up a structure there, and after how many years they come and demolish it. That's what the search does for you. So I've left that place. Everybody's like, you're not going to do something about this property. I say, government can come any day and take that property. So that search gives you that, that tells you exactly what that property is for, if it's somewhere that you can build. And so people must invest. If you're going to cough out millions of naira to buy a land, you must search to be sure that nothing will happen to this land tomorrow. That's one. Secondly, the stubbornness of Nigerians. We're actually very stubborn people. And we're stubborn because the government enables us to be stubborn. Why do you have to wait for this building to be put up in a way that people are already living there before you come for demolition? You know that these are the pipelines where people are building on. You do not allow that building to get to that level. That's what you do. So instead of serving papers, this year you come back, you tell them, leave this place. Next year you come back from that foundation level, and they will not tell me that they did not know when these things were coming up. From that foundation level, before they get to lintel level, you are demolishing it already. You are, so that you save them. They may cry at that time, but the tears at that time compared to the tears now, there will be a lot of.
Let me get a few more comments.
So, I got a message from 2 clients. Well, they haven't purchased. I got a message from someone who had made inquiries about buying property from me, and the person had been consistently sending me messages about the fact that there is an anti-Igbo agenda in Lagos.
Wow.
And I've always replied the person and say, no, it's not there. Then he sent a message. He said, the video of that woman that first went viral, and he said, Rockview Estate at Jawo, Lagos, under demolition. You can see the tribal decay in this country will never stop. This is an Igbo stronghold, and one of the areas Peter will be won by a landslide. Now see the retaliation by Lagos State government. Are we still want Nigeria? The answer is big no. The caption of this video was forwarded by one person or even another person forwarded it to me. So obviously the evil of Nigerians. Without any information, you take a video, put a caption that is divisive and push it into different WhatsApp group. Then somebody without investigation forwarded it to another person over and over again, and you keep sharing. The damage of wrong information is too huge. It will go far, and the news of the right information will not get there. So I saw this and I said, did you find out who sent this to? Do you know who sent this? Who did this video? Do you know the name of the woman? Because you are forwarding this video without verifying the source. You are attaching a caption that you have no idea about. I had to now school the man on what would have happened. I'm in the real estate space. You will never build a house. Lagos State will not give you building permits if you don't have documents. So the rot is deep. People bribe their way to get building permits. So you are getting building permits without documentation on the land. If your building permit was legitimate, you must have done a previous documentation. But they say, just help us document and bribe their way. People buy their houses and you will not get a registered survey or any document on that land in the first place. There are documents, basic documents that you will not get if the area is not free. So when we bribe to get the documents, like you bribing to enter university, you will not, even if you pass, you are not having a useful certificate. So we must learn to do things right. The blame is shared across many folds from within the government officials who are supposed to have checked that building. No building should go that high without being pulled down that you are on a pipeline, you are in a FAAN area. There are many shades of wrong in this. Once again, I hand over to those who have lost their properties.
Let me take Mariam's first.
So first of all, I would like to say, Tokwe, I'm happy that you highlighted that. I keep saying that if ever, God forbid, there's another world war, it will be because of social media and this evil, negative propaganda that we have decided to all be part of. I mean, how dangerous. I hope that we can trace the source of that narrative. And then having said that, you know, our hearts, of course, goes out. There's no how you watch that video and your heart would not break for whoever, you know, owns that land, owns the property, and all. You see work and money and effort and time has been put into it. But there are a few things I think we should just talk about. Sometimes, you know, we have the money, but we don't have knowledge. We have money, we don't have education. We have money to be able to build houses, and we don't have the knowledge to make sure that we're doing it right. Sometimes we have money and we think bribery and corruption would help, you know, cutting corners will help us, you know, achieve what we need to achieve quickly. And the sad thing about bribery is that it bites not just, it bites you that has paid for something like this. If you had bribed your way through to be able to erect a building on that land, the people that have taken your money and gone. Here you are happy for only a short time, and then this has happened. It should never have been possible in the first place. So, I'm not blaming one particular person, but we have a system that allows for that. But sometimes we need to be careful if people are even willing to collect bribe on something that they say you shouldn't do in the first place. Why? Find out the reason why, government is asking you not to erect your buildings there. Then finally, when we tell a story, let's be gracious and let's be honest to tell both sides of the story. I mean, I saw the video where FAAN in a meeting with Lasbar talking about how they have been in consultation with the residents of that area since 2016. And they said in the last 1.5 years, they have met with them over and over concerning this. So this is not something that came as a surprise to the people that live there or the people who have erected buildings there. This is something that they would have been expecting. And that also puts aside, truth is, at different levels of that building or those buildings going up, someone should have stopped it.
Okay, so we'll come to that. So, I mean, it was important for us to just highlight establish the facts that in this case. However, as I said earlier, could there have been a human face to demolition, meaning that somebody's given a notice, or maybe a day before, maybe 30 minutes notice before I can pull it down, so I can take your important documents, you can get something out of the house. There are various things you can say the government could have done to make this easier. So the only thing that is coming down should be the structure, not expensive properties that people have invested in. These are things to be considered. Maybe we couldn't have it done that way. But I'm told that our guest is on right now. Our guest from Labska.
LSBCA.
Yes, I know. So we have the general, actually, it's actually not from Labska, he's from General Manager, Corporate Affairs, Federal Airport. So we have Faithful Hope Ibazi. Good morning, madam.
Someone from FAAN.
Good morning.
Yeah, I do apologize. I thought I had a guest from Labska. Okay, so let's discuss this. This is quite important because many have said, oh, Lagos State did this to us, they demolished our buildings. But we are finding out that FAAN actually have been asking for these buildings to be moved away from the federal government. Could you give us the genesis of this demolition?
Okay, so first of all, can I just wish all workers happy Workers' Day? Really appreciate everything that everyone is doing, the media, the aviation, all, sectors. So happy Workers' Day.
Thank you.
Yes, so I've been listening to the conversation and, just like everyone has rightly said, there has been notices, to all these residents, at the Ajao Estate axis of our airport land, for many years now. And for FAAN, as an organization, we cannot just go out there to demolish because it is not under our purview to do that. So we have been writing letters, to the state government, and I'm glad now that action is being taken because, all of this demolition is for security, safety of everyone, not just because it is our airport land, even for the builders, those who have bought this land and have built, on the airport land, it is for their safety. And I want to let you know that just this number of houses that are being demolished now, are not the only houses that are there. I heard you say, oh, there should be human face to this demolition and all that. Yes, there is a human face to it because we have over 200 houses now that are not going to be demolished. But the ones that are being demolished now are the ones that are on critical areas. You can see the video I sent to you earlier that you saw the pipeline. I don't get it truly. How people just buy land, I don't know. You just buy land without due process. The guest from the Lagos State government now just explained that you cannot just buy land without due process. I know that everybody wants roof over their heads, but I would like that you use this your medium as well to educate the public.
Okay.
And I know you have been doing that, but the human beings are really stubborn, like you said. Some, not all. Just doing the right thing.
All right, let me get a few more questions for you because of the time we have. Go ahead, Bisi.
All right, madam. Do you think that the government moved at the time they're supposed to move, if we're talking about having a human face? Because if you see that your child is holding a knife that would likely do damage to him or her, you don't wait till the child is 7 before you start preaching don't hold a knife. You take the knife from the child, immediately the child picks it up. So do you think that government could have, in having this human face, started the demolition on time, not even allow any structure to be put up in those areas, than waiting till people have invested so much and then coming to demolish it?
Okay, now that is one aspect of it. You just gave an example now of a child and a mother, trying to injure his or herself, and all that with a knife and all of that. Certainly, the mother has been talking. And what we're saying here, is not a baby child; it's an adult child, for example. And the adult, they know what is right? Exactly, please, for crying out loud. The information is out there, and all of that. And now, you have been told severally, and all of that. And you still want to go ahead. As an adult, please. That is what we're talking about.
Okay.
So let us not go that way.
Okay.
Please, could you help us? Could you help us, right? Explain if any notices were ever put on this, this property, the land itself, before buildings were erected. Were there notices that were put up? And was there anyone in FAAN or is there any group or office in FAAN that's supposed to keep an eye on the property to just make sure it's not being encroached upon or anything? And at what point, are they supposed to report when they find that people are already encroaching? I mean, these buildings must have taken many years before they got to this point. So I get it, we're talking about adults here, but I'm just wondering what preliminary things FAAN did before we ended up here in this situation.
Just like I said now, we have been writing to them, we have been holding meetings with them. Yes, before building, severally over the years, we have been having meetings with them. This Round View Multipurpose Cooperative Limited is a residents association, that they put up, they set up, to manage, themselves, and they also know. The executives of this cooperative association, they know, and they are even in agreement to what we are doing, because the truth of the matter is that you can see they are on the pipeline, and it is safety risk. They have been told severally.
Let me be sure I understand. What you're saying is that, let me be sure I'm clear. So a cooperative came together with a group of people that wanted to buy land. So the executives are aware that this area that they bought. Okay.
Yes, they are aware. For example, there is an aspect of the land that is not going to be destroyed. Over 200 houses, like I'm telling you now, are not going to be touched. But these ones, they are on the critical pipeline area. And, the association, they are aware. They know. We have been holding meetings with them. And as we speak, everyone.
Okay, let me get Fantago's question.
Has been told.
Yes. So, because I started my conversation earlier with the tribal ethnic side, so I would like you to address. I know that it's not a tribal demolition, but some people still feel, even though I've said it, that it's a tribal demolition, and you are not. FAAN owns this land. I want you to clarify the position of the government and what led to the demolition, so that every iota of tribalism is taken out of the demolition of those 13 buildings.
Hello?
Don't go off now.
Hello? Are you there?
I don't want to be the one to...
Hello?
Hello?
Did you get Tokwe's question?
Okay, Okay, no, please ask it again. Thank
So
you.
I said that some people, even though I've said it is not a tribal demolition, will still claim it is a tribal demolition. I would like you to state clearly what is the reason for the demolition. The land is owned by FAAN and all the processes that are taking place.
And just tell us,
Yes.
is it?
Okay, clearly, of course not now. It can never be a tribal thing. FAAN is a federal government organization, We have different, tribes that are employed in the authority. So it has nothing to do with tribalism whatsoever. Please, that impression should be erased. Yeah, should be corrected. It is not. So now, the reason for this demolition, like I mentioned earlier, is that it is because of safety and security reasons. And like I sent the video to you earlier, I believe you must have played it. You can see the pipeline running, through from Mosimi, NNPC depot, to the airport. Okay, assuming now, for example, thank God that nothing, disastrous has really happened to that pipe. Imagine what would have happened. Now, that would have been another reason to cry foul, because, the airline operators, that need the aviation fuel will not get it. Yeah. So, it is just for safety reasons,
Madam,
security reasons.
Let me ask you this question. The Nigerians are asking for human face. So, for example, you've served them, as we know. So that morning, for example, the trucks are coming in to demolish. Is it possible you could have announced to all the residents, please come out, we're about to demolish, come out, whatever properties you can do, in 30 minutes we're demolishing this thing, so that whoever gets that information at least can get their documents or their passports or whatever it is that pushes them and get the kids or the children, the grandmas out of the house to safety before the house is pulled down. But from the videos we're seeing, it was like they just came in and started demolishing.
No, that's not true. Like I said, there is always a human face to anything that, government does, truly. There was the marking of these buildings, and they are aware. They were told. Yes, that's why I said, our guests there, explained, we have stubborn children. Put it that way.
All right, let me let you go.
And what the self-interest, your self-interest blinds you truly to anything that you want to do rightly. That is just the truth. You understand? That is just it. Honestly, self-interest blinds, and you can never see the truth when you are having that self-interest.
Okay, let me let you go, madam.
I don't want anyone else, please. You understand? You are seeing it. You have been told severally, because the mother is wielding the knife. Okay, I put it down because you are giving me puppy eyes. But you are being warned, don't do this, and you are going ahead to do it.
All right. Let me thank you very much, madam, for the chef. Let me allow you to go, because I like to get Nigerians to call in to share their thoughts on this demolition. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Made Kuti in the view. It's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 of 7, to be honest, because ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We'll not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
Neuroplasticity.
And based on,
he asked a question that was subjective about high life, and he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Stupidity is an act of ignorance.
Hey God, Made.
Was composed by which Kuti?
Femi Kuti.
Is that your final answer?
God, I'm Shimon Kuti. No, wait, Femi Kuti.
You said
Femi Kuti. Wait.
You can't be allowed.
No, you've not asked me anything.
Everyone.
You've not asked me anything. So my final answer.
No. All I have to say is This show is really about drinking.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
The questions don't matter.
That's the whole
Justice
idea.
is out the window.
We throw questions.
We have no morals here.
On the 7 of 7.
Have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
I think it's only that can be wicked.
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
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 So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like.
Thanks for calling. Alaji from Abuja is still waiting for us. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
How are you, Mariah?
Alaji, you're live. Go ahead.
Good, thank you. I have noticed, I saw what is happening in respect of Ajao estate, and I wanted to inform you that the truth of the matter is exactly what the GM has said. A lot of people have already bought that land, and I can assure you they bought that land not even from the federal government already. And if you go against the motor road, down, all those lands they have been selling it, you understand, they have built so many houses around. And this issue is there almost like 30 years back.
30 years.
And the Federal Airport Authority are talking to them, giving them, notice and so on and so on. But every time they keep listening, they refuse to listen. If you remember the crash of
Oh, Alaji, madam, I'm so sorry. I didn't hear much of what you said.
Yeah, but he was saying what he was saying was that those the land that they've always gotten notices, but that people have been buying land from there 30 years back. So this is
I mean
that people know that is not.
I live in Magodo, and many people know the issue that happened in Magodo. So, because the general manager of FAAN was saying that the houses were marked. Every single house in Magodo is marked as of today.
Yes,
it's still marked as we speak. So based on what happens in court or the government, whatever, toxic can come in every day and start demolishing. So it's the same thing where you just think that okay, we can still discuss, we are in court, or we are still negotiating, we are still engaging the stakeholders, hoping that one day it will be resolved and you still have the property. So it's the same thing. We're not bringing the Nigerian factor, because you're saying that there's local government part of it. There's a part of the local government where you notice and observe. That's why we have government at the lowest level. Before that foundation went up, somebody should have observed. There's nothing that's going on within this course of, for example, that government should have a clue of.
I think the Magodo case is different. So there
it's marked.
There are two, is marked, but there are two cases. Here somebody says this belongs to me, another person it belongs to me, and they go to court. That's a different case compared to those areas that government has earmarked to use for certain things like agriculture, pipelines, canal, and all that. Those are government-owned areas, and in my understanding of what government's responsibility should be is first to preserve and protect lives and properties. So you, as a government that has that as your number one priority, you cordon those areas off. You have, like Lagos State now has their Lagos State plan of every area covered there. They have a proper blueprint of how they want Lagos to be in the coming years. In the coming years. So they should liaise with the local government and the state government to cordon off those areas so that those developers will not even go there to buy any of these properties. That is the human face that I think government should have. But you ignore some of these areas. You allow people put up structures for years. You are appealing. We have marked it. We have done this. Nigerians are naturally stubborn. The job of government is to put them right. So put them right. Except, of course, you are benefiting from them, putting up those structures, and then coming back later to demolish it when it no longer serves you. Exactly. So let's call a spade a spade. Let me how things are supposed to be done.
Alaji is back from Abuja. Good morning, Alaji. We didn't hear you properly the first time. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Much better. Go ahead, please.
All right. So what I'm saying that the issue is there for now, and really our people, they don't want to listen at all. You know, they don't want to listen. And if you look at it, these people, they have been giving them notice. Even from the beginning when they go down, everybody is aware. So we, the airline operators, sometimes when we are coming to land later, you can see how they are coming along, you know, on the top of the roof of the people, of the house is when the data crash, we crash on top of the building, and all those houses are not supposed to be there. Are not supposed to be there. So for people doesn't listen, doesn't understand. So the family can do a good job. But I think one thing the Federal Airport Authority needs to do now, they will give these people some other day. You understand that everybody care about this. You know, I think that.
Thank you very much, Alaji.
So this narrative of Nigerians don't listen, Nigerians are stubborn, I get it, but the only reason why they can do that is because we have created a system for them to get away with stubbornness. If you say to them, bring money and I'll let you do this, or bring money and I can let you circumvent the law, of course they will do it. So people are not just stubborn unto them. How would I say? They're not just stubborn because it just happens. It's because you have said, for stubborn people, there's a way out for you. And we have created this money channel and we'll collect it from you. Now to the stubborn Nigerians is that in the end, it is 2-0. They will take your money and they will go. If there's a reason why land has been earmarked not to be used, not to be built on, just move away. Just quietly, you know, go and do it somewhere else, so that we're not crying over a lot of money that you have invested in your land, and then you know there's nobody that can, no one will even sympathize with you. The most we can do is say sorry, and then that's it.
That's it.
So every human being is stubborn. There's impunity. If you don't, if these things would happen, people would engage.
Law checks you.
If the law doesn't check you, people will do what they feel like doing. If I realize that I'm building and nothing is happening, I'll stay there now. I'll build. If I can escape, I would always escape. I'm sure that if there's nobody that would give fine in the US of A, they will follow one way. They will follow one way. We saw what happened with the insurrection. So it is the job of the government to create boundaries for your society, to create sanity in the system. And I know my people, my fellow Nigerians and my customers to be, who because of this now will start asking plenty questions. So I want to take the time to educate, because one of the things that the reasons people emphasize on buying from a real estate company is because you're expecting them to do the due diligence. My own assignment is to ensure that I do my checks so that I'm not buying a land that has government acquisition. And I have seen families like the way the family that BC bought from know that the land is government acquisition, committed government acquisition. There is a place that they were showing me in where it was fishery. In the survey, what the government has planned for that area is going to be fishery. There is another area that has been earmarked for years that they're now using currently for the cattle rearing. There's a cattle place. So government has some places that are the blueprints for Fort Mainland Bridge has been on ground for years. All the places it will last. They could have houses there. They will demolish houses for Fort Mainland Bridge. So it's important for you to understand what the precedence on ground is. That's number one. On another level is the fact that when we have conversations like this and thinking, like Mayam said, that the government will not work, always flip the other way. What if the government works? If I've already gotten notice that this place has issue, and you say, I have connection, what if your connection gets retired? Your connection dies, something happens. What if the court throws out your case? What is your next plan? Because now you are thinking, I can bribe my way, I know people. There is nothing anybody can do to take me from this land. What if the people that you know?
You know many people planned with Jonathan's administration that, don't worry, Jonathan is coming back, don't worry, my people are still there. And then a new government came here like, what happened? So anything can happen. Let me take this call from Olayinka. Good morning, are you there?
Hello, madam.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to make mention of two things. One, I'm happy when one of your people just said comparing the Magodo saga with this one, they are two different things. And I'm happy the other ladies here have corrected my sister there. Magodo is two families fighting over land. This, you are talking about Ajawa, you are talking about pipeline. Yeah. Something that go, boom, everybody's gone. And now we still be blaming the government. That they also have stopped them, they have to have done this and that. That's number two. There's what they call land information in Lagos State. Before you buy land, it's simple, 15,000 naira or 20,000 naira, go to Ministry of Land. Yes. This land I want to buy, what is the status? Can I go ahead and build or not? No matter what the other want to go and buy behind, you are wasting your time, you're wasting your resources, and it's something that you're just building the sorrow ahead of yourself, agony. So when you learn how to do the needful, that's just my own. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Let me talk about the Magodo for a second, just to be sure that we're all on the same page. So you're right, it's absolutely different, but there's still a dispute, which can still go left or right. So right now, families had a land, government took it from them or bought it from them and decided to compensate them from this. The compensation didn't occur as they wanted. Things can happen, years have passed, 20, 30 years can pass. But tomorrow, in the next 50 years, somebody can look and say, there's a document here now. And depending on who the good in government. So imagine we have a new government, maybe a new party, a new thing, come and say, no, give them this land because they rightfully deserve or something. Anything can happen. So the point is that as long as there is a dispute, either you plan to be on the safe side or just hope that the dispute doesn't work against your own favor. That's on one hand. Then secondly, would this demolition have been better if, as Nigerians are seeing the demolition, they're also seeing arrest of Lagos State officials that probably gave the approvals. So we're seeing that, it's not just a demolishing or handicapping Nigerian citizens, but the department that gave this person the approval to build, the person in charge, whoever signed those documents, is also being arrested simultaneously. When they see that, they can understand that, okay, corruption is being dealt with on all sides. Because sometimes it looks as if only the people are getting the brunt of this. Then you must start putting that really into it.
On all those.
There's somebody that's approved it.
So LASBCA, the spokesperson, the one we watched, said that for a lot of these buildings, they had no CFO, they had no documents. So that's one. So some of them did not have documents. And as I said, some people, you have money, but you haven't taken the time to understand how the processes work. And so you get caught up with unscrupulous, business people that can do that to you. And then when you say, if people see the officials being investigated and prosecuted, that would be fantastic in the real world. But I think all of us should be, should have our self-interest first. It does not matter if anybody is prosecuted. The thing is that it's my building that's coming down. If they catch or they don't catch it, my building is coming down. So for your sake, just leave it. Don't even do anything, because nobody, if you get on TV and say they're pulling down my building and I paid this particular government official and nothing happens to the official, but your building is going down. So it's just important to just be careful. And I understand what you mean by dispute, land in dispute, like you're explaining. Really, for some people, if a land is in dispute, whether it's pipeline or maybe just families arguing, there's some people, once they hear families are arguing, they don't even want to be involved, because we know they take years and years. Grandchildren will come and continue fighting this thing. So just for your peace of mind, you move away. Then I think it's important sometimes, I've seen this happen, maybe government has plans to use a particular piece of land or in maybe 50 years, and so is willing to let it out for 30 years, but the agents don't tell the person. They make it look like this is it. you know, they don't tell you that there's a limited amount of time that you can use it, after which it would revert to government. They don't do that. So that's why we need professional bodies. We need to be able to say these people are part of this particular body and they have the right for me to have business dealings with them. Because in Nigeria, we know anybody can just get up today and before you know you're selling and buying land for people and you have no idea how the process works.
Let's go to the points of social media, because I think it was Chimamanda that said that with the dangers of one-sided story, something like that in that regard, where social media paints one picture. Because when that video went viral, everybody went crazy. Like, what is it? They started again. This Lagos State government have started again. Regardless of what reasons they give, but it gives one perspective. So, in your view, do you think the government responded in time, or they should have actually been the ones saying we are demolishing it because of this, or maybe they should have told us, given us a heads up? You know, people start doing social media because anything you do right now, you know that people will do social media and to go viral and to not work against their own interests as government. So, should governments have waited for people to go viral or come out together? So we are about demolishing this thing tomorrow morning, so that themselves go viral themselves.
Regardless of if the government, if there was official video and this woman's video will still have gone viral.
Exactly.
Because people like sensational,
emotional,
we like emotional, we like that pity. That's what would push negative news thrives. If the government say we're demolishing this building and they do a video of how the demolition is going on, probably one or two people will share it and that's the end. Then the woman now comes and say, hey, they are destroying property. Of course, once again, I empathize with the person, everybody who's lost their properties in this demolition, but that woman so would go viral. So the onus must be on us. Then while entering a new level of social media with AI, there will be deep fakes. You will see a video of your president saying something that you'll be wondering what's going on. He did not say it. So we're going to be getting even more and more of those kind of conflicting negative messages. So our responsibility as human beings is to use this thing between our two ears, our brains, to process information and investigate before we start forwarding. We're so quick to just pushing the narrative, pushing the video to someone else without asking any question. It's important that you don't be a tool for misinformation, but you let it stop with you. So I got those videos. I didn't forward the video. I waited until I got information and I informed the person that sent me the video. That should be your responsibility. Be responsible for whatever you're doing in the social media space. Yes.
Another message from the General Manager, Corporate Affairs, Federal Airport Authority. That's Faithful FAAN, from Faithful Hope Ibaze. She said, "You may further inform the general public that all illegal occupants of the airport land should stop those already encroaching in Akure, Maiduguri, Kano, Port Harcourt, Sokoto will all be demolished." Because when it happens in Lagos goes viral. Guys, Lagos, so they started though. But when demolition happens in one of these states, it doesn't really go viral. So they're also telling you ahead of time that they will be demolishing in this state those properties encroaching on the airport land should begin to move.
Yeah, so I also think because of this era of social media, the Minister of Education, Information, needs to be on point. We need a very young Minister of Information, in the sense that these youngsters, these young people who disseminate this information are very fast with their phones and their hands and their fingers. So a minister who will be at par with them as they are putting up that hold on now. This AIDS is not AIDS that want to be discussing relationship on Instagram. No, please. Let me land my point. They need to be very on point and very fast. So as this information is landing, we're having a counter information to say this is not true. These and these and these are the reasons. We don't have to sleep all night, brood with that fake information till we get the next morning where the newspapers will now carry it. We need to be proactive. My problem with the government all across, whether it's federal government, state government, is that we are not really proactive. We wait and then we start reacting to certain issues. So now that they are advertising Kano, Maiduguri, Sokoto, and where was the government of those states when these people have started building on those lands?
I think like this, some agencies have actually improved. The police, after a million, will be getting some NDLEA. So you guys have started. So like young people.
So like with NDLEA, we know there's an NDLEA process, not but there are aides out there who are doing the job. So I'm just trying to say that they work in an office of other people's teamwork. Even that one minister, no matter how young he is, cannot be everywhere. So he will definitely need. What I also want to say is that with social media, we all know how viral some videos can get.
Like
In 1 minute, you think you have put out a press, and then with the way government works, you want to send out your news through approved media houses and channels. You don't want it to just be a social media gist. So they would wait, they'll come on TV like this, put it in the newspaper, but people don't read papers, people don't watch the news. And if it's not exciting, even when you see if it's not exciting, you don't want to know until someone is screaming and crying and then calling it tribalism. Then we're all excited about it.
Yeah. So I think, and this is a global problem, such as a Nigerian problem. Social media has been a problem where everybody, even government, are finding it hard to compete with the kind of fake news that goes on. We're not saying this woman's news is fake. It's actually real. It happened to her. No, we're just relating it to news that are sometimes not verified, that goes on before the official news comes out from either governments or any private bodies. But that's the impact of social media, and it's not just a Nigerian problem, it's across. Let's take a few comments on social media before we wrap up.
There are many. We have Emmanuel who says, are we going to... Okay, this person says, Emmanuel says, are we going to pretend we don't know government officials collected money from the developers after marking the illegal structures with X and then looked away for months and years while the construction goes on to completion? Now those officials will bring those X pictures as defense.
Wow.
He also says, while Lagos State authorities wield the big stick by demolishing illegal buildings, they should also wield the stick on the officials who stood by and watched these structures being developed from foundation to completion for years. It's not enough that they marked it with X.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mariam, because that's what I want us to focus a bit on.
Yeah.
The job, and I've always said on this table, the job of the local government, that's one of the major problems we have in this country. The inefficiencies of many local government, because that's a third arm, is a legitimate third arm of government. There shouldn't be any structure within your locality that is being raised that your people are not inspecting, observing, or noticing. So there's still corruption at every level. So even though, yes, government is waving this stick or FAAN is requesting, however, somebody else must be culpable. Yes. Somebody within government at that local level. Who is the government? Who is the local government chairman? Who is the community elder? Who are the people within that vicinity that we're supposed to monitor at every point? The monitoring should have started at the foundational level, not when somebody has been living there for X amount of years. That's a problem. So there should be indictments shared across board, not just for the building owners.
Sure. So I also feel more social media. Let me do that.
Sam Banks, while you're looking for, Sam Banks says, if Faithful is correct, as he's talking to the FAAN spokesperson, is correct on the reason for demolition, which is security and safety, what provision do the governor make for owners of the building? Is there any compensation or provision for owners of the houses? So I feel like in this case, since it's not legal,
Antnam says they've been told of the demolition from 2016, but they were still trying to find a way to stay there. Madness. Queen B says the large chunk of the blame goes to the government. Seriously, those buildings have no business coming up to completion stage. Nigeria, sorry for their loss, really. So much investment gone down the drain. Dania says, government that didn't take action since 2016, it will be difficult to take them serious, but they should sort solutions during that period.
T4 says, congratulations at TMO's
Antnam says they think they can bribe their way out. Do the right thing and stop being corrupt with your bribery. Honestly, we need to give that human face matter. We didn't answer the question because we didn't have the right
but we should call government
the right people to right official to respond to it. There should have been there should have been time for people to take out their at least the little valuables they can, because the video of that woman said that she couldn't. She had documents in that house.
So do you think that will work?
Yes, it can work.
I don't think so. Nigerians, you hear that they are coming to demolish your house. You're already calling boys to come and deal with the officials. That's what we hear. We've seen that happen to NEPA officials. You're coming to cut lights and you mention it, and then boys are waiting for you there. They beat up. We've seen that sort of thing.
There's enough.
There's enough time.
I know demolition notices are meant to go out. I don't know how many months or weeks that you're giving, but I think it's usually like a 2-week notice to say that this is about time. So it's last week I should be said with dignity and respect.
I think that's really what you're saying.
Get my passport, get my papers from the place.
It's always important for us to ensure that we respect people. People have invested in this. Yes, you're going to pull it down. The least you could have done is at least allow them to take out a few properties. Yes, you go with security, with the police, go with the security officials to protect the the destroyers.
Mariah,
No problem.
it's not that easy.
But it's important. But it's just the same. It's the same lack of respect.
The way we're talking about human face, I get you and I agree with you totally if we can do that. But also I feel that before we end it, let's also remember the reason why this demolition is taking place on pipelines. If there was if there ever was an explosion and anything happened to those people, nobody's going to blame the people. We're going to blame government.
Why did you demolish those buildings?
Exactly.
I had heard Mrs. Voice. I had heard this voice. Why did they not demolish it? Why did they leave it?
Why did they wait until explosion happened? So we have to.
We have to wrap up, but I think we really addressed this matter. So there are various parts of this. As I said, blame can be taken around from the person that owns the building, the corporation that actually put this together, government, even the local and state government. Everybody has enough blame to go around. But either way, what is illegal is illegal. I feel our hearts go out to that woman and other families who are losing millions of naira. We do hope that government at some point can give some kind of a compensation, at least from the federal government level, or something, just to to cushion the effects of this demolition. It's not easy, but the truth is that if we really want our country to move forward, we need to adhere and abide by the laws of the land so we don't get burnt in future. And once your house is marked, anything can happen. We never know. May God help us. It's marked, you. May God help us. So is that about praying now?
No, that was different. They already settled that.
It's easy to
governor has settled.
What if they are, but I hear they're refusing to take the land?
They are taking
And see, up to my side, you.
You never know. All right, that is all we can take on today's show. Hope you had a great day as we have. And again, happy Workers' Day to Nigerian workers across the country. May you continue to serve your fatherland and benefit from your service. After you've retired, you will pay a pension. So you pray for Nigeria. Bye for now. You said it's amen, right?
Yes, he said.